How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the football show. Fonzie.
Two brothers talking football. Remember, no analysts in the back. We just talking ball knowledge out here.
Dude, are we enjoying summer with the tournaments that are happening? I know that we've been like kind of
loving it,
shitting on like the attendance on the Copa America and different things, but let me tell you, these last few games, a lot better, baby. And guess what? Way better because Venezuela beat Mexico.
Let's go, Alvaro Morales. Where you at, bro? Where you at? For those that don't know, Alvaro Morales is an ESPN Mexican reporter that, bro, he was trashing Venezuela before the game started. He was just talking that it was going to be a walk in the park.
Dude, and still is. There's
it still is.
Mexico lost because they missed a PK. Romo stopped the PK.
Yeah, but you know, at this point, I'm like, he just wants to be controversial. But my point being is,
where are you?
You gotta be humble, man. You gotta be humble sometimes, you know.
Yeah, there's an amazing clip of Romo after the game, Venezuelan goalkeeper talking to a Mexican, you know, saying, hey, you know, we acknowledge Mexico is a great team, you know, and we're going to face the game with humility. And that's what we did. And
humility, unlike some of the reporters.
Mexican
I
reporters.
loved it.
But so anyways, if you're Mexican, by the way, if you're a fan, obviously, you know, respect to you, except if you're one of the ones throwing beer and throwing the Venezuelan flags in the stadium, which there are clips running around, which is crazy.
I haven't seen those.
Yeah, it's crazy. Wow. It's so thank you for the ones that are respectful. Thank you for the ones that, you know, at the end of the day.
You guys make the beautiful game what it is.
That's right. But anyways, okay, we're going to talk about Venezuela later. We're going to be in Austin. We're going to be watching the game.
Venezuela,
Jamaica. So if you are there in Austin, let us know. We would love to connect, but we're going to be talking more about that, obviously, because that's our country in there. But now I think we want to tackle a little bit of general, you know, what happened yesterday, U.S.
Chaos.
Total
chaos. And it was sort of beautiful. I'm not going to lie. I think this was like the perfect representation of Copa America. It was great.
I came in running to the house, turned on the TV, and I'm like, wait, US is playing with one less player. And as soon as I turn on the TV, they're scoring, and it's like, what's happening?
It was a total banger, too.
Yeah, it was a great
goal by Balogun, who's, I feel like he hadn't, I heard Clem Dempsey said that they finally find their number 9. He's been scoring for 2 games in a row, right? Which is pretty good. I don't know if it's like still that is the one guy, you know, like he didn't have a really good season.
Yeah.
And you cannot base
that opinion.
The rest of the tournament, you know, put your hopes only because of 2 performances, which again, I acknowledge they have been pretty good. And I know the US I feel like they lack quite a few things, but one of those things that people like is the number 9. One of the other things they like is a pretty good coach. But, you know,
we'll see.
They're going to have it rough, but it was a total banger of a goal. It was absolutely beautiful.
And then, hey, props to freaking Panama, man. You know, playing as a obviously an away team. They're playing in Atlanta, stadium packed to the rim with, you know, Americans and
to the brim.
To the brim. Is that to the rim? I don't know. You know, they went in, obviously, you know, one less player for the US, but that's, I guess, the story of this Copa America. And, but
let's talk about that red card. What do you think about, you saw the replay?
I did see the replay. I think it's well deserved. I mean, you should not be hitting a player in the back of their neck.
Yeah. So clearly I will say, and because I've been seeing obviously both sides of the conversation, right? Like I've been diving in Reddit, the rabbit hole of Reddit, right? And obviously you're like, like all this Panama, like they're trash, how they were playing, so dirty. Hey, at the end of the day, sure, maybe it's not the most show-off sportsmanship that you would like, right? And I think a lot of people are just too used to watch, and I'm doing air quotes here, kind of like the privileged soccer players, right? That they have, like we watch for the most part, like the Premier League and all these things where like, you know, majority of the consumer eyeballs are on them.
Yeah.
And yeah, they play like that. They are at the highest level, obviously, like they're tactically, technically, like they're the best of the best, you know, and they can compete. But at the end of the day, like some teams will use like teasing and all these things. And like what a lot of people do not consider sportsmanship, they will use it as an edge. But you as a professional player, you need to understand that that is part of the game and you cannot let yourself
and believe me,
be taken out by that.
And there's more than that this happens in every game, by the way. It's
there's trash talking everywhere.
It's not shown on TV, but it does happen in every single game, and every single player will tell you. And I was reading an article of the new rules for the Copa America and the referees and all this stuff, and it's like they're making football a middle class sport, right? And their argument was they're making all these things to make it feel. Their point of view was with rugby and that sport, where it's like you cannot like talk to each other, you cannot like touch the ref or anything, and we got to understand the history of football, right? It comes from the popular sport. It's the sport of the people, where like you only need like a just one ball to play, not a lot of resources, right?
Yeah.
And
at first it was like town versus town.
Exactly, and it's a sport that you play on the streets, right? So it's especially in South America, and that's going to happen, and that's translated. So again, this is shown to an American audience that maybe are not used to something like that, right? Like you mentioned.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that's why referees are in the game.
I think this story describes it perfectly. I remember when I first came here to the States to play, and I was reffing like a YMCA league, which obviously is like super amateur, right? But I remember we were reffing these games in club soccer fields. Mm-hmm. And I go and I see a sign that says, please do not talk to the ref, like respect the ref and all this stuff. And I agree 100%. I want to make that remark. I agree. Respect the referee. But in my mind, I'm like, what? I've never seen this sign back home where we grew up. Like where we grew up, oh my goodness, dude. Like people would get in fights, in brawls, like with the ref, like insulting the ref. And sure, it is terrible, but we got to accept that it's part of the game. Like there's so much passion, especially in countries from South America, right? And I think that is
the different.
One second. I think the South American countries do have, and European countries do have a cultural advantage on football over the US, because the US is so organized, man. And like, sure, you're being competitive when you play in these clubs, but immediately you're being shoved with, all these things. Again, sportsmanship is good, but I think it takes away an aspect of the game, which is, you gotta think quick. You gotta think quick. Okay. You gotta be on it. And if you're playing futsal on the street, right, in a neighborhood against, 5 other teams, because winner stays, losers get out, and you don't play for like an hour, like you're gonna use every tool at your disposal to try to win that game. You're playing against older kids, and you don't see that here in the US. I haven't seen. I lived in Texas. I lived in Florida. Maybe some other place in the US does have it, but I haven't.
More than Texas or Florida, I don't think so.
Yeah, but I haven't seen it where like you go to a neighborhood and people are playing on a basketball court, soccer, right, where they put goals out public and people are playing and fighting, and you have this passion for the game. And I think that was the translation of the Panama USA game. Like Panama was like,
we're going to win.
Scrappy dogfight. Yeah. We're going to use every tool that we have in our arsenal, which can be, bother and talk trash to this guy and bump him when nobody's looking. And then the guy lost his head.
Or kicking Pulisic from the back.
Dude, that kick was obscure. That was absurd.
Well, he got a red card.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think he knew it. He knew what he was doing. Yeah. But, you're going to use these tools and the guy lost his head. And you as a professional, you need to know. I was like, man, they're going to mess up with me. They're going to, and we've seen it at the highest level.
You got to be prepared for that. I mean, another
Zidane in the World Cup, he lost his head, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you got to think like examples. Like I've been listening to commentators. Like a good example is Venezuela's first goal against Ecuador, right? Like it was a play that went out on the side. Ecuador was resetting. They grabbed the ball real quick and did the throw in. And that play originated the first goal. So the argument that a lot of people are making is like, oh yeah, they played fast.
It's part of the game.
It is part of the game, dude. Like you call the ball boy to give you the ball real quick so you can play and find the other team that is not positioned. You don't wait.
It's a game of moments, right? Like what moment is going to give you an advantage?
Absolutely. I mean, and that's why, ball boys, if you see European soccer, right, they're part of like their home team and they have a strategy. They're like, keep the ball the longest you can before you give it to the other team. If we're winning, right? You see all these things, and it, like I said, is all part of the game, and I think it makes it way better than fully organized. So I personally, I am loving the chaos of like this Copa America. Personally, I think is really exciting. It's very different. I mean, it's like that meme. It's like if you watch the Euro is like this synchronized, dancing competition, and then when you see the Copa Americas, it's fight to the death with knives. So it doesn't mean that I'm gonna stir away. It's like
yeah. I mean, it's been entertaining for sure.
Yeah.
Now, I do think obviously I do agree with a few of the pundits, right, that were making some comments on the changes that US made, that the coach, right, Greg Berhalter, could have managed better, right? Again, there's a lot of criticism on the coach. Now there's even more pressure on the coach because they got pretty much one game that is ride or die, right? They pretty much have to beat Uruguay in order to secure.
Because it's looking strong, man.
Bolivia could, in some world, beat Panama. Bolivia is one of the weakest teams right now in the tournament, right? They haven't really shown much. They're not going, and I do think Panama can beat them. So the US pretty much has to beat Uruguay, and like the goal differential is going to count too, right?
And Uruguay
I think Uruguay is going to, I think Uruguay is going to come all out, because obviously if they lose, obviously the goal differential, they just score 5 on Bolivia. I think they're still going to get first place, right? But I think they're still going to go, Bielsa, it's all about intensity.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. And I think that's going to be a real test for, the full on battle that's happening right now. Talking wise is like CONMEBOL versus CONCACAF or whatever. And that was like the big talk between Mexico and Venezuela, where, and then now it's same thing, but now probably 2 higher level teams, with, who knows?
I mean, Uruguay right now might be one of the, if not the best South American team.
I haven't seen a full Colombia game, which obviously 2 years undefeated, but from the games that I've seen, I think Uruguay is the team that might be playing even better than Argentina, right? Argentina had a scrappy game against Chile, but it's going to be really challenging. I'm very excited. And again, first spot in that group matters a ton, because the other group that you're going to face is Colombia or Brazil or even Costa Rica, right? I don't know, Paraguay.
I mean, but Uruguay in the last World Cup qualifier games, they beat Brazil and Argentina in Argentina.
Wow.
Like they are a very strong side. And with the problems that the US is having right now, and honestly, if they didn't have the problems, like if the US was playing at their best, of course, I think it would be a competitive game, but I still believe Uruguay would have the edge in this game. So now coming in, obviously, where I can play, they have some challenges in there with some of the players that can only play a certain amount of minutes. I think the goalkeeper, right, just got injured. He might not be able to play the next game. They're going to have to play the second goalkeeper. It's going to be very tough challenge. And dude, Uruguay is known for playing hard, right? Like in South America, they're known for what we call la garra charrua, right? Yeah. Like they are rough and they go hard. And if I think they're complaining that Panama was playing like that, dude, like Uruguay is just gonna walk over them.
Yeah, I think, a lot of people say here, you got to man up. And, we're just watching a video of Alexis Lalas. And even though we don't like you, Alexis, I think, you're right. And you calling out the players at that specific clip and the coach. And obviously they have to show up. They are hosting this Copa America at the end of the day. And I think like this exposes a lot of like, okay, is the American football system the right system right now? I don't think so. And you can tell Mexico in 2020 changed to a similar format that MLS has, and it has been on decline. That's what everybody's been saying. And you can see it with their team not performing. So I think something, if we want USA or this country to grow in football and compete, things need to change. But again, very exciting to see the South American countries, put in a lot of scrappy, good, exciting. Come on, CONMEBOL.
I will say
to make a statement. I think they're making a statement, man.
I will say this, Alexis Lalas. You had the US in your final in your bracket. You had the US in the final against Argentina. How's that looking, man? That I know it's still early, and maybe this clip will come to haunt me. When maybe the US goes through to the next round, and people will be like, haha, you know, and I'm okay with that. You guys can hunt me down, but
we will say that we were wrong.
Yeah, I'll accept it.
Not like some pundits out there, specifically Mexican pundits that, you know.
Pundits.
Whatever. Pundits.
I will acknowledge it, but man, that bracket is looking rough, Alexi Lalas.
Oh boy.
All right. And then last but not least, let's move on to the Euros,
okay,
right?
Quick, because we have to go and we got to prep for the trip.
Round of 16 tomorrow starts. We got Switzerland, Italy, and Germany. Who plays Germany?
Denmark.
And Germany, Denmark.
Interesting. I mean, I think I'm more excited for other games, but I think Switzerland, Italy is going to be intense.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for that game. I mean, Italy, after not being in the World Cup, I think they owe it to their country. I think they're playing a football that could bring him at least probably to the semifinals. They might have an England as a rival in the next game. Who knows?
I think Italy, England would be a fun game.
A fun quarterfinal, yeah.
Yeah, because that'll be hopefully the revenge of England, you know, against Italy.
I mean, the way that England has been playing.
That's
knows?
the thing. It's kind of disappointing.
It's going to be interesting, but I'm expecting probably my prediction there will be probably Italy moving forward, but it's going to be a really exciting game. Keep an eye for Switzerland, man. I don't know. It's been fun. They're a small team that always surprises.
I mean, they got a good set of players too.
Yeah.
Plays for some good teams, good leadership. Love Granit Xhaka. Once a gooner, always a gooner. Yeah. Come on, boy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What about Germany, Denmark? Obviously, Germany playing at home. You know.
Yeah. I mean, Germany has been one of the strongest teams this competition. They've been pretty consistent. Obviously, so much quality in the squad. Denmark, I honestly haven't seen too much of them, but the fact that they made it, you know, obviously to round of 16, that's pretty big. Now, in round of 16, how do you manage this tactically, right? It's just do or die, right? What type of game are they gonna play? I think it'll be interesting to see what type of plan they come out and present against a Germany that is very, very strong.
Yeah. Just a heads up here for the record, right? Head-to-head record is 2 ties. You know, 1-1 each of the ties, right? And at the end of the day, the last 5 matches for each of the teams, they haven't lost. Which is
interesting.
Very interesting facts here. They're giving Germany 59% win probability, probably by the way that they're playing and the momentum of their team. And I mean, not gonna lie, it will be really cool to see a host nation kind of move forward. But Denmark has a really good chance to, you know,
Denmark has
the party.
Yeah, I think Germany is gonna win. I'm gonna go with Germany for sure, but. You know, looking at the group stage of Denmark, they didn't win a single game, right? They were on that group that was pretty boring to watch. That everybody complains, right? They were in the England group, and you know they tied Slovenia 1-1. They tied England 1-1, which honestly doesn't say too much because England hasn't been playing very good, and they tied Serbia 0-0. So I think it'll be an interesting game. Honestly. Probably Denmark just trying to hold on and taking an opportunity on the breaks against Germany.
I mean, again, now everything is possible, right? Round of 16, this is either do or die. So a lot of styles might change moving forward.
The game I'm expecting the most, honestly, is like Spain-Georgia. I think that game is going to be so much fun. Georgia has been such a good surprise this tournament. Such a brave team, dude.
Do you read the Georgian billionaire that gave them $10 million or euros because they went through, and he's saying he would double that reward if they beat Spain. So
wow.
talk about motivation for these Georgian players, man. I don't think they need it, but I mean, 20 million for the team.
I mean, that is definitely a lot of money. It sounds like those you know, like Saudi Arabian stories in the World Cup. It's like, you beat Argentina, you get a Rolls Royce type of deal.
And they actually delivered it. I think there's a video with them receiving the cards, which is really exciting.
That's absolutely amazing. So, but you know, Georgia has been personally, usually smaller teams like that, you can feel how sometimes they're afraid of playing these bigger teams. And I mean, Georgia has been so brave. The way they play is so exciting. Obviously, I think tactically, they know exactly what they're doing and they know very well what is their advantage. They have some really good fast players on top.
Yeah.
And honestly, that is the one way you can actually punish Spain too, because they put so many players on top. They will hunt you down on pressure.
Yeah.
But if Georgia manages to break that first line of pressure and then send, cat out on attack, is going to be amazing.
Also, fun fact, I don't remember the exact number. I might put it here in the show, but I think it was 10 players from the Georgia team were developed under Cristiano Ronaldo's football academy in Georgia.
Really?
So there's actually a picture of Ronaldo when they first opened it, and the 10 players that are now on the national team are there as kids. It's incredible story.
Wow,
And,
I did not know that.
I do not know how to pronounce his name, number 7.
I just say Kara because it's like
Kara. Okay,
Karashvili, something like that.
Kara, yeah, Kara. There's a video of him trying to teach people how to pronounce his name. But anyways, he was man of the match, obviously, against Portugal, and he posted a picture of Ronaldo's jersey and the man of the match, and it's all full circle for him, which I think is like really exciting story.
Wow, that's a cool story.
He was developed under Cristiano, and then he was a guy, beating almost, the Portugal team. And awesome, props to Ronaldo, dude. Like at the end of the day, his work is obviously seeing the fruits of the labor with the Georgia team. It's coming back to bite him, but at the end of the day, the sport is what wins.
Yeah. Proud moment for sure. Yeah. I think the most boring game is going to be France-Belgium. France-Belgium or England-Slovakia.
I mean, you would tell me this game was like last World Cup, you'll be like, oh, we will be all psyched about this. But
I mean, on paper, I'm psyched. But as of how the Euro Cup has been going, those super big matchups
have been
have been like a little bit disappointing. But instead, Austria-Turkey.
I was going to say that.
I think that game is going to be absolutely amazing. Austria is playing some good football with Ralf Rangnick as their coach.
Yeah.
So much intensity. Their last game against the Netherlands was one of the best, if not the best game of the tournament. It was absolutely amazing. And honestly, that was the first full Austria game that I watched, and I was in shock on how good they were playing. And honestly, the Netherlands, they look like they didn't know what to do. So I think that's going to be an exciting game. And then we got Romania, Netherlands too. Honestly,
I wouldn't be surprised.
I feel bad for the Netherlands because they never win anything. But
I wouldn't be surprised if they get knocked out on this.
Me neither. Yeah. Romania's been inspired too. A little bit of an underdog in there. Yeah. And I think they've been playing a very strong football. And like they are a decent squad. So I think it's going to be exciting to see them on that game. I'm excited for this round of 16s of the Euros. Obviously, I'm excited for the next couple games of Copa America. Sunday, Venezuela, Jamaica. Let's go, Venezuela, vamos.
Let's go.
And Monday is USA against Uruguay. I'm excited for that game too. It's gonna be good.
Let us know. Obviously, you guys can connect with us, our social media accounts at Official Break FC. You can find us on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube as well. And let us know in the comments, what do you think? What are the predictions? What's the team that you're rooting for? What are your general thoughts on what's happening in the world of football? And we would love to connect with you guys.
What else would you want to hear about?
What else want to hear about?
Do you be part of the conversation?
Do you create content? Do you want to be a part of these discussions? Let us know, send us a DM, and we'll make it happen. Thank you so much. With that said, guys, thank you for listening to the Football Show, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.
Bye.